While everyone is discussing whether or not 4Bats is an industry plant, nobody seems to discuss why it's actually working. Because the creation and rollout of 4Bats' image, music, and branding is quite literally perfect. Now, even I will admit there is something suspicious going on here. He made his first song 1 year ago called Act 1 Stickers 99, which now sits at 45 million streams. But at the time of release, it basically fell on deaf ears. Then he posted a music video and a handful of TikToks for 6 months before dropping his second song, Act 2 Data 8, in December, when it exploded in virality within a week. His From the Block performance went viral, his On the Radar performance went viral, and he shot up to over 9 million monthly listeners after just 2 songs. All his cover arts basically look the same, and you could tell with his Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 release plan that this was all very calculated, very thought out, and very strategized. Then in the beginning of 2024, he signed to OVO, dropped a remix of Act 2 with Drake, and now also has a song with Usher. Act 2 has over 270 million streams when combined with the remix, and when you consider his manager Amber Ajee is the lead creative manager at RCA Records, a woman who has worked on creative campaigns for Doja Cat, Justin Timberlake, and Post Malone, it seems pretty clear that 4Bats has had a multi-million-dollar machine behind him since the very beginning. And when most people hear this objective information, they just say he's an industry plant. They clearly wiped his back catalog. He was discovered by the majors, and they
stickers dropped last year? What the fuck?
Very beginning. And when most people hear this objective information, they just say he's an industry plant. They clearly wiped his back catalog. He was discovered by the majors, and they took him in and they rebranded him and they re-strategized his career going forward, and that he wouldn't be successful if it wasn't for the label. Now, even I will admit, like, look, having that multi-million-dollar machine is very important, but you also have to remember that record labels are constantly trying to do this with hundreds, thousands of artists, and they don't always hit as big as 4Bats. They actually almost never do. There are very specific things that make 4Bats genuinely different, which made him immensely successful, and it isn't just because he has a lot of money behind his brand. But in order to understand that, we must analyze 2 very important steps of the current music climate. An artist today must get your attention first and then impress you with their music second, because most people don't go out of their way to discover music anymore. They just happen to hear it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or through social media, through friends, on the radio. Like, sure, my audience actively deep dives on Spotify and SoundCloud to hunt and discover an upcoming artist, and they actually go out of their way to discover music, but most people don't do that. So if you think about it, it's arguably more important to know how to get people's attention than it is to make good music. And we all understand by now that social media is the #1 way an artist will gain a fan base in 2024. Therefore, they have to create content that will engage people enough to like, follow, share, and hopefully go to streaming services and actually listen to their music. However, they are also competing with literally every other blog, content creator, brand that's trying to steal your attention away from you. So regular people have gotten to the point where they can determine within seconds if they are interested in something. Like, you're probably only gonna give a post that you see on social media 1 to 5 seconds before you just scroll right past it. So an artist needs to
That's facts. That's on average. That's literally the average number, chat. No cap.
create a visual that's impactful and interesting and compelling enough to make you stop scrolling and become invested in whatever they're sharing. But the job is not done there, because what if they make bad music? Like, sure, they may have gotten your attention, but then as soon as you heard the song, you just scrolled past it because it wasn't good. I've spent over 6 years now studying and learning how to get people's attention as a full-time content creator, and I'd like to say I'm pretty good at it. And now I'm using that expertise to give artists advice and strategies on how to get more attention on their content through my music marketing newsletter called Tuned In. After you purchase a membership at tunedin.marketing or purchase using the link in the description, you will receive an easy-to-read email every Wednesday containing relevant music marketing advice, content strategies, or general music marketing secrets that experts are using to gain more views on their content, which leads to more streams on Spotify. Let my team save you time by doing the research and teaching you how to market, so you can just focus on on what you love doing the most, making music. And you get a 20% discount if you sign up yearly instead of monthly. Forbats figured out the recipe of getting your attention, and that comes down to his image. He decided to throw on the balaclava, which is a staple of every UK drill rapper. Just being able to see their eyes and mouth has this menacing, mysterious vibe. Additionally, he had a crew of people around him all dressed like they are about to do a drill. He's carrying cash and doing the money spread, which is just another trap staple. But literally none of these visuals or imagery would be considered unique if it wasn't for the song, because his song entirely contradicts everything you see visually. He isn't rapping about doing crimes over energetic beats. He is singing softly and emotionally about a girl. His voice is pitched up so he sounds like a child. This same exact formula was used by Rumor 4 years ago with his viral song Rascal, where he is singing a beautiful country ballad while posted up around dangerous dudes with weapons. But the contrast between the song and the visual makes people stop scrolling. Like when he was initially going viral, they saw it and they're like, okay, I like UK drill, I like drill music, let's see if this guy goes hard. And then they hear him singing and they're like, whoa, wait, what's going on? I mean, Kai Cenat's reaction to it is perfect.
Who the f is these thugs?
You want me to pull up? I come inside by 8 p.m.
Yo, why my heart just... Yo, what the f...
Now, it's pretty clear that this was a paid reaction because there's just no chance that Kai would see something that he's never seen before and say, what are these thugs up to? Only to be like, whoa, well, I'm so surprised. Like, why would he say, what are these thugs up to? You know, like, because he already watched it. He already knew what he was going to say because he was likely paid to do the reaction. And even if he wasn't, he probably saw that it was going viral and knew that he could get a viral reaction out of it. If he didn't know, people fake their reactions. I mean, it just happens. They pre-look at it. They already kind of know a narrative.
Chat, I don't fake my reactions. Everything I do is authentic, chat. Facts.
Right? I'm not calling out every reactor. We know No Life Shaq is legit. We know Dante is legit. But there are some...
We know Duffware Barbosa is legit. Facts.
Where it's like, okay, they're like, what am I going to do? Because I'm being paid to react to this, so how am I going to make it different and interesting so that the person who paid me can get their money's worth, right? Yeah, it's business, people. Plus, in some of Forbats' early TikToks, you can see him posting the caption, like, when the voice doesn't match the rapper, which is kind of just like a common content strategy idea that has permeated throughout TikTok and YouTube for many years now. But it's a good narrative, and it worked really well for Forbats because it honestly describes what's going on here perfectly. But there's an even deeper way to analyze Forbats' success.
Let me know.
Your kids are on their way.
I bet.
These days, an artist is no longer an artist. They are a brand. And
Facts.
Music is no longer art. It's a product. And in order to buy a product, you have to learn about it. So before you buy into or become a fan of an artist, you need to learn about them. Some
Facts.
products take a lot of time to learn about before you buy them. For example, electronics. Most of you don't make a quick decision to buy a computer monitor or a Wi-Fi router or a camera. You take hours, sometimes days, maybe even weeks or months to do research, watch reviews, analyze the specs, look at the competition. The length of time it takes you to buy one of these products dramatically changes the business plan of the companies who make them. They spend extra effort and money and resources designing it, thinking about additional features and value propositions. This way, it lasts longer and it is worth the assumed high price tag. It also means the product will mean more or be considered more valuable to the customer who bought it. Inversely, if you're buying a pen or a water bottle or some chapstick, you're probably just like, yeah, that looks good, I'll buy it. You don't really think about it all too much. So the companies who make it don't necessarily need to put in years of research and development because they know most customers are going to make a quick decision on whether or not to buy it. The amount of time or money it takes to get someone to buy something is called customer acquisition cost. And if you think about it, new artists have to do the exact same thing, but the customers are called fans. Artists like Forbats that are blowing up have what I call a low fan acquisition cost. Since there isn't much there to digest or understand, it makes it much easier to buy or become a fan of his music. It's like the water bottle. Looks good, feels good, has a cool color. There's a little bonus storage container underneath, keeps the water cold. Like, it's pretty much it. So let's buy it. If you watched the intro of this video, which I know you did, you now know Forbats' whole backstory. There really isn't much there. You know, the cool juxtaposition between his image and his music, and his R&B tracks are vibey and enjoyable. So now you know everything you need to know about him. There's really nothing deeper there, so you just now have to determine if you're a fan or not. The more simplified your branding is as an artist, the better. If your entire brand can be summed up into one sentence, you have the potential to be huge. Why? Because imagine you're talking to a friend who isn't chronically online like you are. And you're trying to ask them if they know, or you're trying to describe a celebrity or artist. Maybe that's popping off, or maybe that's new, and you just want to ask them if they had ever heard of them. Yo, you ever heard of Ice Spice? No, who is that? Oh, it's the girl with the orange hair and the big ass that makes drill music. Or, yo, you know Mr. Beast? No, who's that? Oh, the dude who does the crazy YouTube challenges and gives away a ton of money? BLP Kosher. Jewish dude with wicks and grills that raps.
Duffy 333. Black nigga who be singing and shit. Nah. Y'all said we already got that? Oh.
Aiden Ross, streamer who makes sus jokes while hanging out with rappers. Ian, regular looking white boy who makes surprisingly hard trap music. Big X a plug, fat dude with unique samples who makes hard southern trap music. Patrick CC, YouTube documentaries about celebrities and their controversies. Yo, you know Forbats? Nah, who's that? Oh, the dude who looks like a violent drill rapper but makes smooth R&B love songs. See what I mean there? And even if the conversations don't exactly take place like that, like those conversations take place in your brain. You look at something and you try to quickly figure out in the shortest amount of sentences or the shortest amount of detail possible who this person is and what they do. You just naturally subconsciously do that. The more complicated or unclear your branding is, the harder it becomes to share your music or to gain fans because they just don't really understand, or they don't know how to categorize it in their brain. Like, here's Angelo Mota, who kind of looks like he would be a Dreamville artist, but some people say he sounds like Kendrick Lamar. He does kind of make conscious rap, but it also could be considered hard trap music. He can also sing decently and make R&B, but he has also dabbled in making dancey music. And on top of that, he's a producer and makes his own beats that are usually super layered and complex. Like, to us music fans, that description sounded really intriguing and you'd probably go listen to him. But to the average person, you just bored and confused them with that long ass description. And I'm not trying to diss Angelo. I feel for him. Because the big overarching problem here is that music is supposed to be art. It's not supposed to be a product. That's just the reality of what it is. It's supposed to be nuanced and deep and thought out and digested and consumed slowly before you can really determine how you feel about it. Summarizing someone's entire life's hard work and art in one sentence is extremely difficult, but it is necessary to have explosive virality like Forbats. The only caveat to this is that many artists who rise this fast fall just as hard, because they didn't take the time to grow a fan base and build a foundation to hold it down for them while they work on their next body of music, resulting in them constantly chasing that virality instead of building their core fan base. I do think Forbats' music is good enough to stand on its own. Like, I don't think that the only reason why he will remain popular is because of a gimmick. I think he'll slowly rebrand over the next few years, take off the balaclava, and gradually merge into another mainstream R&B artist. Like, his next big viral moment will probably be when he decides to stop pitching up his voice, or when he takes off the balaclava, or maybe he'll start putting out some rap stuff like when Tory Lanez did, and people were like, wait, I thought he was an R&B guy. He could rap too? But only time will tell.
That was a banger video, bro. That shouldn't even feel like a 12-minute watch. That should feel like a 4-minute watch for real.